about relationships for episode 3 of Limelight. Limelight! And in today's episode, we have your EIC, me, Kashal. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Rashad from the photography. Okay, I'm Rashad from the photography division of Limelight, and
I'm Shaina, head of feature.
I'm Aryan, one of the hosts for Limelight.
So yes, we'll get into the questions on relationships. The first question is, how serious is dating in high school, and do you think the pressure to date has impacted you?
Who wants to start?
You can start.
What?
Just because.
Okay. I think with the preference of the individual really, like I think you can make it as serious as you want, or you can, have fun if that's what you want, but as long as you communicate it to your partner or you make your intentions clear. That's like what I feel like is the right thing to do. You know what I mean? How do you guys think?
I think it depends on like the level of commitment that you're at. Because different people have different levels of commitment. And I think for us specifically, because this is like our senior year, and there is more pressure to date now, I think, compared to like the earlier years of high school. Because like the earlier years of high school, it's like whatever, you like someone. But now people want to actually like get into a relationship before you get into college. So yeah, I think it's definitely affecting me.
I feel like I used to think dating in high school is so serious because I grew up seeing like a lot of my friends' parents, they were high school sweethearts, and some of them even dated from middle school, and so I thought like the only way for me to like get a long-standing, healthy, and sustainable relationship is if I found that person from high school.
personally, I think I agree with what Aryan said. Because like it depends on like your preference, but like I think you should take it a bit more seriously if you're planning on making it into like a long-standing relationship, because like high school is like very crucial for like kemasa depan, for like us as individuals, and I think high school is like one of the more like sensitive time periods for like people like us.
Since we go to an international school, definitely like people in relationships might end up in different countries and universities. So usually like their status affects their college decisions, and you know what I mean? And like especially people who stay after high school, like I've heard a lot of very troubling stories.
Yeah. But don't you think there's actually like maybe less pressure for you guys to go into a relationship in your? Because you said like there's more pressure in your age, but I think like the mindset that I've been hearing or like witnessing amongst the people around me is like once you're in 12th grade, you should be focusing on like college admissions, your studies. So it's like, do you really want to get into a relationship at that?
I think that's probably like a batch difference thing, because like at the beginning everyone was like, this is like your last year, and I feel like the dynamic of our batch from the beginning, everyone kept on saying like, oh, we're like siblings to one another, and then suddenly in 12th grade everyone started dating.
Yeah, that's true.
And that wasn't really like sibling relationship to me. So what do you think, Rashad? What do you think?
I mean, I don't know, batch 15, our batch specifically has been like really compact, and like we've known each other since like grade 1, so of course we're gonna think there's like a sibling relationship. But then
Yeah. This sounds so rockin'.
No, because it's so interesting, because I was
grew up with me in Mentari. He went to boarding school, and then when I talked to him, he was like, I'm so surprised. Like, why are all my close friends bullied? Like, why are they all dating each other? And then it impacted him because now he feels like he has to find someone to date in his boarding school. But like for me, I think because I've never shown interest in like being in a relationship with other people, that my family has become they're so concerned. Like in the family group chat, they like send this guy, or they'd be like, ini buat ade aja. He's like, oh, he's your type. And I was like, nah.
Do you guys' parents like encourage you to date? Or like they don't? Do they?
They keep asking.
They keep asking.
They keep asking.
I'll be like, you didn't answer.
I mean, I've never felt that pressure from my family because my family. Wait, I'm not gonna put this in my answer here. My family thinks I'm like asexual.
You want to fully cut? Okay. Wait, but they told me not to date the senior year though, because kaya
Tanggung mesti.
no, not nanggung. It's just kaya it's just scary to like see how you're gonna react to before college, before everything piles up.
Alright, in a relationship, one of the most important thing is boundaries. So in terms of you guys, how do you establish boundaries in a relationship, and what boundaries do you think are important?
Why are you laughing?
No, it's just yeah.
I think boundaries are a very important thing in a relationship because before you get into a relationship, you're your own individual. And I think boundaries are one of the ways you retain that individuality, because I feel like often when people are in relationships, they can lose their sense of self and their only like identifiable trait is their significant other.
Based on experience.
What? Y'all got too many inside jokes on this episode, bro.
And how would you establish boundaries? For me, I would say it depends on what kind of person you are and what you prioritize. For example, for me personally, I think a time boundary. This sounds so bad. Like I feel like a time boundary would be important because as much as I want to spend time with a significant other, I know that I have my own priorities and I value my individual time a lot. And for me, I would never want a relationship to get in the way of like my future goals or my career. So establishing that kind of boundary is the way to go.
Your answers say a lot.
It was like that episode in Ginny and Georgia, you know, where Georgia talks to Marcus and says, "Don't pull her back.
Yeah.
When it's time, let her go."
What about you guys?
Well, pretty annoying, demanding person. So I feel like I'm very particular about how I would act with someone in public.
What about
Okay.
Okay.
What type of boundaries?
Like how would you establish
Yeah.
that?
Which ones do you think are important for you?
For me, I think that privacy and like at first like a boundary of intimacy is really important.
Like,
No, my nerves.
Because like I think as a person, don't you want to have like your own sense of like self? Because like if you don't have privacy or like your own time alone or with other people and family especially, you would probably lose yourself and probably lose your own goals and your own path.
How would like you establish a boundary?
I have some good points. So,
Okay.
like, okay, I don't know if this is controversial. Oh, sorry. I don't know if this is controversial at all to say, but like, I don't think your partner should be like your number one priority in life. Because I find that if you're like too dependent on your partner, sometimes what happens is when they start to have their own sense of self, and you're the one depending, sometimes you start to resent your partner for going out or like doing things without you and stuff like that. And I think like have conversations early in the morning. Like don't wait to
Like at the beginning. Of
like don't wait to communicate like what it is like you want and what you don't want, because then like you don't want it to cause problems first and then you have to solve it together.
You don't want it to turn sour.
Yeah, like that's just more work than you want it to be. Than it could have been.
So do you think boundaries are something that you establish like at the beginning of a
Oh, yeah.
relationship, or something you like learn to?
I think it's both. What you know you want and what you know you don't want now, you can communicate that, and if your perceptions change, then I think you can also communicate that.
So communication is key.
Yeah, as cliche as it is, I think.
Yeah, I feel like setting boundaries would help you just like maintaining good memories of each other.
Yeah.
Alright, so since those are the boundaries that you would establish in a relationship, do you guys think it's the same when it comes to a situationship?
No. No.
No.
Have you guys been in situationships?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it's different because I didn't think about it. I didn't think this one through.
Okay, one of us first.
No. Okay, wait. I think the main difference, obviously, a relationship and a situationship, is that a relationship has a label, and from there you can actually have expectations from someone. But the thing about situationships is that people can really like imply things, but mean another thing. But I think if you in a situationship where you don't have a label, but you know that the feeling is mutual, it's okay to communicate what you want and what boundaries each of us feel. Like, for example, if I was interested in someone and I knew that other person was interested in me, I don't think I would personally have a problem voicing out if I'm uncomfortable. And if that person doesn't respect that boundary, then I think you should get out of that situation.
that's what he's here for.
Let's go.
He has a purpose.
Oh, look at the silence.
I feel like one common thing I hear in fights in situationships about boundaries is that you're not my boyfriend, you're not my girlfriend, you're not my partner, you don't have the right to say that.
But at one point when you've been through things together, even though you're not in a relationship, and you voice out your concerns and they don't respect that, I think that's actually like pretty offensive. Because even though there's no official label, there's kind of that there's like unspoken terms, I feel like, that people should respect. And labels aren't everything. Sometimes like the experience you have with another person already has value, I would say.
I don't know why, but I've always been told that, like in Indonesia we call it context, right? Like my mom always told me, not just my mom, like every woman in my family told me that situationships only benefit the man, not the woman. For some reason. What do you think that is? Because I still haven't figured that out.
And sometimes maybe guys, I don't want to overgeneralize this and make men sound like
Terrible.
yeah, but I feel like the expectation for a relationship is mostly on women.
Yeah.
Rashad,
Oh,
what do you
yes,
think?
yes.
Would you enter a situationship
I mean, honestly, I think situationships are just like trial run. Like, no, because like, that's not how I view it, but like, that's how I
One moment. What do you
No.
Can again?
What?
Pilot testing.
No, because like, I think instead of a situationship, you should just go lump sum to the
Really?
because it's just the title, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just a title, and like, if you're already emotionally connected, what's the point of a title?
I mean, title matters a lot. Title matters a lot.
Yeah.
Lumayan. Kaya having a guideline, because it's tiring though, like having to restrict like someone your conversation with them in fear of like, oh, what if like I sound too clingy, or like if I appear too clingy in the talking stage or whatever, right? But yeah, I found like after once you get that label, there's less fear or like there's less worry, and you can actually like have meaningful time with your partner in a way that you don't fear of appearing this way or that way. That's
I feel like it looks like a trial run. That's just from my experience.
Yeah. Because maybe you've seen like successful situationships, the ones that have transitioned to
No, I've
relationships.
seen some like non-successful ones, and they're just saying, "Oh, it's not that deep," you know.
Man moment. Man moment.
we move. It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
There is a phrase about relationships that says you need to be fully healed before entering a relationship. Do you guys agree or disagree with this phrase?
No.
No. Why?
That's like saying mentally, people with mental health issues can't go into a relationship.
But I feel like in the context of high school, we don't have the emotional maturity to process the sadness or other intensities of, like other intensive emotions from other people. I feel like at the end we end up internalizing their trauma. And someone, I'm not like totally against it, but just based on what I've seen growing up, is that a lot of people end up, how do I say it, unable to like process. You know, because like in a relationship, I feel like there's like a responsibility to confide in one another, and maybe the experiences the partner undergoes is just a bit too intense. What do you think?
The way I see it is that you don't need to be fully healed, because I remember what my grandpa said is like, instead of like waiting for yourself to be healed, you find someone to suffer along. It's not, that's not like suffer, like
That's not horrible.
go through the journey with you know?
Like go through it together.
Yeah, like their problems become your problems, and your problems become their problems, and you fix it together.
Sometimes I
But then I don't totally agree with that statement, because I feel like you should not be looking for trouble when you're in.
You're already in trouble.
Like,
when you're
you
in a
shouldn't
trouble
look-
state.
You shouldn't look for even in a relationship. You should like get into one with somebody who has less problems than you.
I feel like what his grandpa said. You know that like Indonesian like saying when they say bangkit dari bawah bersama or something. Like you start from the bottom up together, you know.
And then you work together.
Yeah,
You're
or
you got suffering together.
like you
I
advance
heard
in your
it wrong.
careers together.
I think my own take on this is that you don't necessarily have to be fully healed, but you have to be at the same level of healing. For example, if someone was at like 90%, like their mental health is at 90%, and they date someone who's at like 40%, that relationship is not necessarily going to be a healthy one, because that individual at 40% is going to rely on another individual as well. And I think that when you have a partner who has trauma that isn't fully healed, they tend to project that trauma and also traumatize another person. And when that happens, the relationship just grows to be resentful. So yes, what Rashad said is true. You can work through it together, but you should make sure that you're at that same level of emotional healing.
Something actually is more important than like the percentage of how much someone is healed is like how similar two people are in the process of healing.
Like their
you could-
coping mechanism?
Yeah, you could have someone who like just went through something like horrible, but if they know how to get back up to ground zero from it, I think that's a much more important skill than them being in ground zero. But like, what happens when they hit that wall and they don't know how to get back up? And then like suddenly it's the partner's responsibility to like get them back up.
I feel like the thing I fear about people who enter relationships and end up confiding with each other about a lot of things is that one partner isn't mature enough to keep it between themselves. They end up spreading it, and that ends up as rumors. You know, people can be misconstruing the point.
So to end this episode, do you guys have any other, I don't know, like advice to people dating in high school who's in a relationship, in a situationship, or happily single? Any words? Starting from you.
Keep it on your own flow. Don't let others influence you into like telling you what it is you should want. Because at the end of the day, you want what you want. And as long as you keep your intentions clear with the other person, then like, you're all good.
For me, I would say I agree with you. Be at your own pace. Don't feel pressured to get into a relationship. If any of you are in situationships or have something going on with another person,
I feel like connecting with people who knew you before your relationship will help you gain a new perspective of the things that you're going through in your relationship, and then eventually you'll be able to discern like which is right and what's wrong, and you know what are you worthy of. And eventually, when it's time, when it's not going well, wake up and break up. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you guys for watching.
we'll see you on the next episode of Limelight. Bye guys!
Bye.